right, welcome to the FACTORYISH podcast. We're at episode number 3, and we have Steve Miller with us on this episode. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, Steve is a customer of Street Metal Concepts, and he has had this beautiful 48 Chevy Fleetmaster. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and the unique part of that is it has a 12-valve compound turbo Cummins in that.
Yes, and it's set up like a gasser.
Yeah, it's totally unique. We're going to dive into talking about that and all the stories behind that as well. But such a cool car. I appreciate you bringing that over to the shop today and spending some time with us while we discuss it. But first, we're going to jump into Zip. You were at a car show, not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
Right.
That was at Inverness, Florida. It was a local show, and that's your hometown, Inverness, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, since 1989.
Right. And your father, Steve, was in. They had an award this year in memorial of your father. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And your father, unfortunately, passed away.
In July.
Yeah, in July. But he was part of this car club. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah, and this is the Citrus, Vets, and Camaro Car Club. What did your dad do with the car club?
He basically did a lot of information collecting for their website. You know, He got a lot of old stock photos and information on a lot of cars, and we, kind of to help build their site, and he'd help run the show with them, and it was just being a part of a car club.
Yeah. And your dad had the Camaro that you brought to the show, and then also a Corvette that Craig, your brother, brought to the show as well. And you did some work on the Camaro as well. You've done engine mods and a few other things. Discuss what all you've done to that car.
Well, the first thing we did to it was Lambo doors. And
your favorite?
I opposed it, and he really, really wanted them. And, I thought it was beneath me, and it was not a cool mod. But, he really wanted it, and he's my dad, so he got them. And he did his research and got hooked up with this hinge company and got the hinges. And honestly, I was quite impressed with the quality, the engineering of them. I mean, I have nothing bad to say. It was Vertical Doors. Was the company, and they did a nice job. They worked fantastic. They've probably been on there 9 years. And they work the same as they always have.
That's cool. Yeah. And the Corvette, what is the uniqueness of that? Is it low mileage?
No, I mean, that was his daily driver when
no
he bought
kidding.
it. He bought it brand new in 1999. My older brother Craig went with him to buy it. He had a 89 before that, and so traded in and bought that one. And, he was a correction officer at the time. He worked about an hour away and drove it every day. I mean, it's got 128,000 miles on it, and as you saw, it was in pretty fantastic condition for that. Basically, when he, I forgot which car it was, he ended up parking it and buying another car instead of trading it in. And then when my younger brother Barry had graduated college, he gave it to him as a graduation present and handed it to him. And then after his passing, my younger brother gave it to Craig.
Cool. I had the privilege of meeting your dad a couple times, and he was just super, chill, accepted everybody, was just an awesome dude. I mean, but you've told me a few stories. Your dad, he served in the military.
Yeah, he was in Vietnam.
And then when he came back, what all did he do with, wasn't he part of the NRA
he loved guns.
Yeah.
He was a gunsmith. He owned a gun repair business my whole entire life. I mean, he worked for Savage Industries for a while when we lived in Massachusetts, and after we moved down here, I think Savage closed, and he bought all their inventory.
Yeah.
And then he was the guy that would repair them. So he had a home in the garage shop, and it was kind of his little side hustle. And, you know, the ATF would be at our house pretty much every month, and because so many firearms were coming in and out of the house. And, you know, and it was just his passion. You know, I was really into it when I was younger. And, you know, I don't know, I think my interest drifted into cars more. You know, I mean, he was into cars, but, you know, what wasn't like diehard about it. And, you know, my interest changed over the years, and he supported whatever I was into, you know. He didn't have like a path that he wanted me to take. He just wanted me to take the right path.
To pursue what you wanted to be happy.
I mean, I credit him for being probably one of the greatest things he did for me.
Yep. Well, he obviously not only affected your life, but affected a lot of the people, even in that car club, for them to make that memorial, that trophy, the Best of Show trophy in memory of your father. And at the show, we also have some footage of, it was your family that was able to give that trophy to.
Yeah, my son Lane handed it over. He was very nervous about it. You know, he did a fantastic job. I think Mac was the guy hosting, and my dad used to take him to the shows, you know, so he recognized him, and kind of everything was fine after that, you know, and he did a good job.
Yeah.
The Steve Simons Best of Show overall Camaro, and then we'll get to the first gens here in a minute. This is going to be presented by the Simons family to Anthony Sikora in a 1969 Camaro right over there, the brown one.
No, it was awesome. I appreciate you letting me be a part of that. And again, your dad, obviously, you are a reflection of his direction, and I know that he'd be proud of you, man.
Thanks.
Yep. Well, Steve, again, thank you for being part of the show. You're the first customer of Street Metal Concepts on the podcast, so welcome.
How exciting. I guess I've spent enough money.
You win. So today you brought the Fleetmaster. There's got to be a backstory on this. This isn't a Camaro. This isn't a Mustang. This is not your typical, hey, storybook, this is the classic car I want. This is pretty unique, a gasser at that as well. So what drove you to go down this road?
Well, actually, I found it on eBay.
And
I'm like, oh, that's badass. And since it's set up like a gasser, but it's a diesel, so we call it the Gagger, because it just blows smoke. But I found it on eBay, and the guy, it started out like that. He was a hot rod builder in backwoods Missouri.
Yeah.
So I drove to Missouri in a snowstorm, but I got it for cheap, and then I figured out why. It was kind of, nothing was put together right on it.
Yeah.
So it's been gone through 100%, completely redone.
Right.
I mean, the paint's still there and the concept, but other than that, it's 100% different. And now it's actually usable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even its compound turbo setup, even one of the turbos was backwards. So
no way.
Yeah. So
Really?
They were going against each other.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the level it was at.
Yeah. Now, was this your first classic muscle car adventure into it, or
No.
have you had other cars in the past?
I've had other cars. My first was a 1954 Bel Air. And that was another eBay purchase.
Yeah.
I do a thing, I still do it to this day. I do eBay roulette. Where if I see something cool, I keep bidding up to see if because I guess in my head where the reserve will be, and I'll be like, oh, it's not there yet. And then I'll be like, oh, shit, I hit it.
Yeah.
Now I got to buy it. And actually, so the 54 Bel Air, I was actually looking for one because my grandfather had one.
Okay.
We got it after he passed. And it went from shop to shop to shop for 15 years. So it was still in the shop. So I found one, and it was nice already on bags. And so, I mean, nothing crazy. But someone had put some money into it, and it was halfway of what it could be. But I think I played eBay roulette and got it for like $8,000.
No kidding.
On the way to my now wife, I was going to pick her up for a date, and so that's one of her favorite cars because that's one we're not allowed to get rid of, and I don't want to get rid of it.
Oh, so you still have it to this day?
Still have
Awesome.
it. And once again, it's in a shop sitting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but that was my first one. And
So you kind of draw more towards that 40s, 50s era.
I'm kind of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love that era mostly, but yeah, 40s, 50s. But I'm all over the board. I don't hate anything.
Yeah.
Except the late 70s. Late 70s, early 80s were pretty bad.
No, they were. Yeah, they weren't so hot.
Yeah,
The Pinto
that,
2 was not a
yeah.
a crowd pleaser.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm good.
Yeah. All right. So you've had this car, the 50. You said it was a 54
54 Bel Air.
Bel Air. Okay.
This one I had. This is the only car I got rid of. I had a 39 Plymouth Coupe that was on air ride.
Cool.
That was a really nice car.
Yeah.
Another eBay roulette,
Uh-huh.
and I redid that one and then sold it in a fit of rage. And then I saw it like a year later at Turkey Run,
Yeah.
and I was pissed. I'm like, why'd I sell it?
I wish I had it back.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have a 72 Corvette, a C3 that I got from my stepdad that he had when it was I think he got it in like 75.
Okay. You said it was a 73?
72.
72,
Yeah.
like Nova, Chevy.
Corvette.
Corvette. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't catch
C3.
that. Oh,
that
cool.
was the last year, the chrome bumper
Yep.
front and back.
Yep.
I guess that's the big thing if you say that. Then.
Yeah. Right.
But, yeah, that was raw and in his garage for 20-plus years.
Yeah.
So he gave it to me.
So, all right. Sounds like eBay is your weakness. Have you gone to bring a trailer yet?
Yes.
Don't. I should tell you.
I send zip ones. Yeah, no, actually, I haven't. That was my last eBay.
Yeah.
I picked up a car at Meekum this year.
Uh-huh.
That's a 64 Corvette C2, and I took Zip
cool.
with me to check it out first.
Yep.
And it was actually, it's set up pro touring. It's all new chassis, Artmore. It
Really?
was built for Doyle Thomas, who's the owner of, or one of the owners of Whataburger.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was selling like a 50-car collection there, and it was one of those out of
Wow.
So,
all right, this passion of classic cars isn't something you just trip into. You obviously have some people in your life that have instilled this in you. What's the story behind it? Is your your dad into cars?
no,
Your grandparents?
I mean, my dad does. He's always liked cars, but never really had the chance to have. I hear about back in in college, he had a '66 Mustang.
Right.
But my grandfather, his dad, was big into cars. And I that was probably my earliest memory of that type of, cars and older cars. And he had one, I don't even remember what it was, and no one can tell me, there's no picture, but it was something with a rumble seat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I remember little, less 5 years old riding in that.
Yeah.
And then I remember he had a 54 Bel Air, the same one that my dad has now, riding in that. Then my uncle on that side, he had an old Jeep CJ7 that was lifted. And so I remember, like, it was one vacation. I went up there, just me and my sisters, and stayed with my grandpa and that uncle. And it was just driving around town in their cars up on Cape Cod.
Yeah.
And I just remember that being cool.
Yeah, you were telling me earlier that you originally grew up in Massachusetts. Is that correct?
Till I was 7.
Okay. Yeah. And then moved down to Florida. Your father was a builder?
Correct.
Yeah. And then that's what brought you guys down here, is when things were kind of taking off. And
yeah, the market went down up there.
Yeah.
So then moved down here. But then down here, everyone built houses out of block.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know block. I did wood. So then he started finish carpentry.
Oh, okay. So he did all the inside work then. Yeah. And now, is that business still existing? Did you move on and inherit that, or what's the story behind that?
Yeah, I started, and now 25 years ago doing it, and we kind of changed what we did.
Yeah.
But we do mainly commercial. We built apartment complexes, hotels, and we do more than just finished carpentry. We do all the steel, hollow metal. We do all the specialties, stuff like that. And so I bought them out a couple of years back.
Okay.
And So he's retired, still an angry old man. Now that's his thing, is being grumpy.
Yeah.
So he just started an addition on his house to get back so he can yell at people. So
Yeah, good.
That's what he's doing now.
And you said he lives over in Daytona Beach area?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what brought him to Daytona? Any interest there, or fishing? Is he into the coast?
They like living on the water and going out. They got a boat and stuff and hanging out on the beach. So basically, that's it. Just relax.
Now, you live in this Orlando area?
I live in, Winter Springs.
Okay. And what drew you to this area?
I mean, when we moved down here, we moved to Castleberry.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been here since, 1989.
Okay.
Castleberry and then Winter Springs. A little bit after college and stuff, I moved downtown and all that stuff. But
yeah. Did you go to college here in Orlando?
Yeah, I went to Valencia and UCF.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent.
I got my degree in criminal justice.
And that applies really well in construction, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have never once used, except trying to get a ticket. I went to school for it. Does that count?
Well, you can really keep an eye on your employees with that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Zip, all right, Steve, your story is really amazing. But there's got to be a connection on how you got connected with this guy. What's the story behind that?
Honestly, well, there's a lot of car people around here, different builders that take your car and it sits, and I've had cars sitting at places. But my warehouse is in Sanford, and my office, everything's in Sanford. And I own a lot of tractor trailers, trucks, all sorts of stuff. So I have to make a trip to the DMV every 3 months for something. And the drive goes right by Zip's shop.
Oh, okay.
And I always kept looking. Then after I tried to make the gagger not death wobble and kill me every time, I'm like, I can't figure it out. Let me just pull in. And I just walked in one day and started talking to Zip. And he gave me the time of day and sat down and talked through everything.
Okay.
And he said he had a long list, but he doesn't take anything until he can actually start working on it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that's new. Everyone else is like, yeah, give me money, drop it off in the back lot. So everyone else is nothing like that. So I'm like, just add me to the list. And then he put me on the list. And then, I think probably a couple months went by, I had another vehicle. And I asked him, hey, you want to come look at it? So he came out to my house, look at that. And then so we were like, yeah, maybe. Then he fixed everything on the gasser. It worked better than it ever has. And I can actually use it and be safe in it. And so then we started the other build.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the big one. We'll hold that for a moment. So Zip, do you recall the interaction between you guys? And
that like a lot of people, they came in and needed help. So we'll figure it out and we'll help you. I mean, it might be considered a weakness of my business in some aspects, but there's a lot of people in trouble with their cars, and we want to help them enjoy them, and but you got to wait.
I know.
Unfortunately, a lot of people need help, and we can only work on so many cars at one time, but we got the car in and saw a lot of stuff wrong with it, and kind of discussed our plan, and Steve was all right with that, and which pretty much was get rid of everything that's under it and rebuild it and put some real thought and engineering into strength. I mean, that 12 valve Cummins is not a light motor.
No, that's heavy.
And it's sitting over light duty equipment, so we took what we could find to purchase in heavy duty and then elaborated on that. I mean, we had a JFab laser cut this backbone that we welded to the axle to keep it. I mean, the axle that was under it was folding.
Oh, really? What axle is that in now?
I think you had the axle. Or I think you had purchased it.
I did, but I think you guys even upped it
Oh, to another
Yeah.
one.
So it's not a 9-inch or
No,
is
no,
it a Chevy
it's,
axle?
it's a straight tube, front axle in it.
Oh, I thought you were talking
front,
about the
yeah.
rear.
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
Yes.
No, the rear is
Yes.
a 4 9-inch.
4 9-inch, yeah.
I had to replace that before.
Oh,
because
really?
it was a locked rear end.
Yeah.
Probably a month after I got just making right turns, it blew the axle and ripped the whole rear tire off through the fender, all that stuff. So
eBay's been so good to you.
yeah, I got a good deal.
Yeah. So JFab created I was thinking trust on the rear
Yeah.
axle, but you're talking about that JFab.
See that, right? The brace on there.
I see it now. Yep.
We designed, basically JFab has been a awesome resource for us, and he has equipment that we can't afford to buy. We'll never do enough work
Lasers
on that
and
kind of
brakes.
equipment to justify the purchase of the equipment.
Yeah.
He does a lot of heavy production stuff. I mean, he builds full frames for, those huge lifted trucks and stuff. And so we'll make templates, we'll give measurements, designs, whatever, hand it over, and then they'll create it in SolidWorks and laser cut or whatever the need is.
Yep.
And, and give us back real parts that we can use.
That's cool. Yeah. So the front end you rebuilt, didn't you do some tuning on the engine as well?
A little. I think didn't Southern Diesel. They kind of went through the motor before we got the car, and sorted out a lot on it. And we kind of elaborate on some stuff because they didn't completely reconfigure everything on it. It has basically rear mount alternator, and is the AC back there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
It's under mount,
right,
under
but
rear.
there's basically a pulley on a shaft that runs where there's
entire
actually
length of
more
the-
room in the back
Yep.
with a pulley running accessories back there.
Oh, I gotcha.
And that really wasn't visited while it was there, really wasn't visited while it was with us the first time. But now that he was able to use it, now we started discovering the
It was
other
a flaw as well.
and so we discovered it had bearings on that shaft rated for 900 RPM max,
Yeah.
which is idle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now I think we're 9,000 RPM bearings in there.
Wow.
The right part for the
Yep.
right job.
Yep.
And it's been working good. It's kind of, we didn't build the car, so there's not necessary to take it all apart and reinvent it right away,
We're just doing it piece by piece.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That's
Well,
kind
we
of like
find
that
the
Johnny
problems.
Cash song.
Yeah.
One piece at a
I had
time.
a problem with the poppers, and Steve got stuck inside it for 2 hours.
yeah.
Oh, really?
That was a bad day because I'm a little big. I couldn't fit through the windows. And it was also, not to go on to a long story, but my neighbor was having a reception, or I don't know what it's called, but after a funeral, all the
Oh,
people
yeah.
come to their house
Right.
and asked me if they could use my driveway the day before. I'm like, yes. So all these people are parking in my driveway while I'm stuck inside the car at 140 degrees.
Oh, my gosh.
And, my wife's laughing at me. I'm yelling at her, help me out. So she's trying to I'm trying to climb out, and I call Zip, and I try and pop it, and eventually I couldn't take anymore. So I just ripped the door panels apart and was able to get it through cables.
Get out.
Because it was electronic opening from the outside and electronic opening from the inside.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's so thank God it wasn't
Yeah.
on fire.
Yeah.
So then,
So
yes.
You need an ejection seat.
we're like, oh, you know what we can do? Use the mechanical mechanisms that are designed to go in it and put handles back inside so you can just open the door like a door.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
And then since I ripped all the door panels apart, then we did interior as well.
Okay, so the interior, you've had that redone then.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, it was Zip actually designed it and drew it all up for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Colors,
Who did the stitching
everything.
on that?
That was Orlando Auto Upholstery.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Oh, they did a great job. But
Yep.
that's where Zip comes into great play, in sketches and everything. So he just drew it up, said exactly what colors,
Yeah.
and they did pretty close to what he asked.
Yeah.
Close enough. It came out good.
Yeah,
It looks
Definitely,
great.
yeah.
And you even have a rear seat in the back,
Yep.
a little kind of mini seat. Now you have kids.
Yep. I have a 5-year-old that
Yep.
fits in the back seat.
Perfect.
And a 19-year-old daughter that does not fit in the back seat.
Well,
but she doesn't go anywhere with us anyway.
She's not wanting to go to car shows anymore at 19.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So your 5-year-old boy, girl?
Boy.
That's right. I think, was he at Turkey Rod Run this year?
Yep.
That's right. And what is his opinion on this car?
He's scared of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's too loud, and he thinks it's nonstop on fire.
Yeah. So what does he like then?
Well, the other ones he calls race cars. He likes those. His favorite is the 72 Corvette. That is the one that hasn't been touched, falling apart. I mean, I've done motor and coilovers, but other than that, it's not. It's crap.
Yeah.
And that's his favorite. So I'm like, fine, when you're 16, you can have that one.
You can have that one. That one's fine.
The rest, don't touch them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, talking about kids with a span, I have them from 27 to 7.
Yeah, I
that's
remember.
6 total. So, like, I got a full house. I mean, they're not all at home, thank God.
Yeah.
But that's awesome that your son at least is kind of tying on to your interest in the automobiles, and I'm sure that's going to continue and expand as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's definitely into tools and motors and stuff. I mean, he has 2 dirt bikes, a trike, 5 ride-on toys, and I mean, since he was 1.5, he would, like, in the kitchen get underneath his little ride-on toy and just act like he's working on it and stuff. So he's definitely gonna be a car guy, which is the only thing I wanted.
Yeah.
Like
I got a son.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a car kid.
Yeah. Unlike Zip's dad, I'm completely pushing him in one direction that I want.
All right. So he's a car kid. How many Hot Wheels cars does he have?
Oh, actually, I have more.
Yeah.
No, he's got I don't know, 7 IKEA boxes of them, whatever that equates to.
All right. Well, is that how you came to the vehicle that the Street Metal Concepts is working on now? Like, what's the backstory on the Hot Wheels tribute truck? We've kind of coined that phrase for that because you literally walked in with a Hot Wheels car and said, build this.
Yes. Actually, I think I sent it in an email.
Yeah, with the Gagger was still on the wait list. We hadn't even
Correct.
got
Hadn't
it
even
yet.
touched it yet.
Oh, really?
And I was in North Carolina or Tennessee, I think, with Brittany and Lane, wife and son, and we were there, for a Christmas break. And I get an email, and he sends me a picture of the Hot Wheels, and he sends me a picture of a F850, 1962 F850 that he bought.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, can we make that into that? I was like, yeah, we can.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah. That's super cool.
He was, I'll come by the house and look at him.
Yeah.
And he came by and you saw, I mean, the truck.
Okay, so the truck, you actually had the truck before?
No.
Okay, so that was a truck that, I thought you found that truck.
No. He found
You
the
found
truck.
the truck.
He bought it as
And was it another eBay purchase?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. So basically, my son did get this Hot Wheels. I don't remember if I was the first one who found it or my wife found it or something, but it was just in his thing. And I'm like, that's badass. So I kept, hey, is this your favorite? Is this your favorite? Until it was.
Right.
And then I started just looking on the internet because I'm like, I want to build this thing. And it was my plan. I have the big, I'll do it myself type of plans. And then I'm like, I'm not any good. But I started looking at it, and I found that those several years, the early 60s F-Series, the big trucks, matched it pretty good.
Yeah.
So I just started looking, and I found an old fire truck in Alabama. What do they have, 500 miles or 5,000? Like under 5,000 miles on it.
No kidding.
And it had been sitting in a guy's barn, or his shop. He was actually a woodworker, and he had bought it to transfer stuff but never redid it. They just put a paint job on it, and so it literally was sitting 30 years untouched, and it still drove horrible. I mean, it drove like it did in 62,
right.
20 miles an hour, did not stop,
did not turn. You had this much play in the wheel.
No, I had none because the wheel just rested on my belly because I couldn't even turn it, so I would just go straight.
Yep.
So I just drove up there, got it, brought it back. And actually,
you literally drove that back?
No, on a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I was like, man, you are a diehard.
No. I do a lot. I do one trippers though. No matter where I go, whether it's 18 hours, 25 hours, whatever, I'll just do it one. So it's kind of diehard. It's still good stories.
Yeah.
But
you still get your badge.
yeah, brought that back, and at first I was looking into. I was just gonna take the body off, throw it on an excursion.
Okay.
And then make a cage for it and get it close. But then I'm like, talk to Zip, see if he was interested, and I knew he could actually make it like the Hot Wheels, not like oh, nice try.
Yeah.
I kind of see what you were trying to do, but you gonna go to Crasharama in it?
All right, so the tube on the back of the tribute truck, what size tube is that?
6-inch.
6-inch tube. Yeah. How did you guys decide, like, that's not just something you go grab off the shelf, man?
No, I mean, we ordered 800 pounds of 6-inch tube, 8th wall. We wanted to keep it as light as possible, but, it's a heavy-duty truck, so we don't want it to be too light. I mean, we're putting a gooseneck trailer behind it. It needs to be able to stop and handle the duties and do nasty burnouts and be a badass hot rod as well. So, just a little bit of requirements needed out of it. And, we scaled it though. And, Casey was scaling everything. That's pretty much where we started. And, it's not a real truck, the Hot Wheels.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that you want to make it identical. You're just making the whole entire thing from scratch with nothing. And, and then you're triple the cost, and it's already a hefty.
I was going to say it's
it's a biggie, and so there's certain things we opted to kind of forego. There's some things that we changed a little bit, like the Hot Wheels had this really funky headlight configuration. I have one big headlight on one side, a smaller headlight with even a smaller headlight below it on the other side, like these real funky cutout shapes. And and it was neat and whatnot, but we're like, we don't want you to have to see the Hot Wheels and understand why the truck was modified
that way. Right.
Like anybody should be able to see this and go, that's a badass truck.
Yeah.
Period. And then, oh cool, that's cool. It matches the Hot Wheels, and I think that's totally being achieved.
Yeah. And also, if Hot Wheels ever wants to be like, hey, trademark, give that to me. It's completely different.
It's completely.
Look at the headlights.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So, what motor is planning to go into this?
Well,
has it changed?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, not since our last
purchase.
I thought there was a purchase made.
Well, we got a 572 for it.
Nice.
And originally we got a Ford 572 big block crate motor because they offered one. I hadn't heard of it honestly, but it seemed like big cubic inch would fit the bill. We did a ton of research figuring out what transmission would work well behind it, that had the tow capability, that had the RPM capability, all those things, and kind of had it all spec'd out. We ordered the motor, and then the date moved, and then it moved, and then it moved, and then finally Ford was like, I don't know when it's going to be available.
Oh, no kidding.
And we were like, oh, okay, well, we can always use Chevrolet because it works.
Yeah, they got them on the shelf.
So then we opted for the 572 Chevrolet, and we got it in the truck and mocked everything up. And then the 632 came out. And man, that's an awesome motor. And
who am I to say no? I'm like, we're pot committed at this point.
Oh, no kidding. So we're going 632 on this?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's news to me. I have no
really?
idea.
Okay, yeah. So,
wow, that's pretty cool.
But
there's a 572 for sale.
Okay.
In case you're
It'll be on eBay.
I actually had a conversation about that today.
Oh, okay.
So
he's already got it sold.
We can talk about that off.
Okay, perfect.
That's a business deal.
Yeah. So And that date's moving, and we're waiting. You know, I have actually my normal Chevy Performance dealer that I use all the time. I have an order in with them, and it should be soon, hopefully soon, maybe soon, we'll see. And then I also have a order in through another major distributor, and I'm just seeing which one will win.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll check eBay.
Yeah. Slightly used.
Slightly used.
Well, obviously, he's
7
not
out
a
of 8
diehard.
Pistons.
He's not a diehard. It's got to be a Ford and a Ford. So
No.
It's got to work.
it's just got to work.
Well,
That's the goal.
Yeah, and evidently I didn't really realize it, but I'm a Chevy car guy and
Yeah.
then a Ford truck guy. So
Okay.
if Ford truck,
Yeah.
Chevy, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. What have you had classic Ford trucks in the past?
No,
Okay.
just fire truck's first one.
Yeah.
Except a 2001 Ford Ranger that was
the-
badass.
The Danger Ranger.
Oh my gosh, that 4-liter! It was
Yeah.
even the edge
Oh,
step side bed.
Oh my God. Stepping it up in the
Probably
90s.
actually worth money today.
Oh yeah, I wanted to buy one to relive my youth, and now I'm like, God, that's more than I paid.
Don't look at bring a trailer because that'll be about 20 grand. And they'll
Right.
just
Yeah,
go, are
exactly.
you serious?
Yeah, and it was 14,000 brand new.
Yeah. I went down this road of looking at Suburbans on Bring a Trailer, and it was just like, that's a $3,000 vehicle. Why is it
Yeah.
bringing 18? Why? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's crazy now.
It is. Well, the truck itself is, I mean, it's coming along. We'll put some footage of the truck where it's at today. And there's just some really cool, unique items that's going to be implemented with it. So, granted, it's an old farm truck. You said it was a fire truck?
Fire truck.
Fire truck.
I believe it was a water pumper truck.
Okay.
When I bought it, it was just cab and chassis. They had taken
Yeah.
everything off, but I believe it was a water pumper.
This
From
thing-
backwards Alabama, that got zero service.
Yeah.
Hence the 5,000 miles. Of
Yep.
that.
Yep. But this
That's
thing's
fine.
going to lay frame, and it's going to pull trailer.
Yes, sir.
So the Hot Wheels vehicle didn't have a hitch on it, but this one will.
Yep.
And you have a gooseneck? Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
Right.
Gooseneck trailer.
So
Yeah.
basically that fastback roll cage, if you will, that's on the back of it. It had like on the top side 2 X patterns in the cage. So basically we built one full X pattern, then we mocked up a second X pattern, and then blew out the center of it. So
Okay.
the theme's there, but it has a slot for a gooseneck trailer to fit in.
Right.
And then we built, a full cradle for the gooseneck, and we had JFab cut that.
Nice. What is your ambitions and what's your goals? Like, this truck is a top tier hit, you know? Are you looking to take this to SEMA, Ritalin, or Ritalin? What's that?
Riddler.
Riddler. That's
right
it.
out of Rama. Not Ritalin.
Just these little kids
Ritalin,
running
that's
crazy.
That's the
Fingers
drugs.
everywhere. Touch everything.
It's for the distribution of Ritalin to all schools across
Oh,
America.
perfect. It's going to have a trailer.
That's the trailer. We could haul a lot.
So the
10
Riddler, like,
schools
what
a
is the
day.
goal with this truck? What's your hope?
I think definitely SEMA.
Okay.
And just because I want to go, I've never been, and I
Yeah.
think that'd be awesome. But also because it is a ridiculous build, and I think it's one of those where everyone will appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, the other thing is I do have quite a few cars, and I use them all.
Yeah.
I drive them. I don't just leave them in a garage under a tar. I drive them. So that's also why Zip is very much so on board on building a usable driving vehicle that
Yeah.
hauls the trailer, can do burnouts, donuts, look badass, and if I wanted to drive to North Carolina in it or anywhere, I could.
Yeah.
And that's the point of it, not to just be a trailer queen in a little enclosed.
That's cool.
I don't even know if it will fit in an enclosed.
I don't think it will. No.
So yeah, I mean, that's the point of it.
You'll have to buy a semi to enclose your semi.
I have semis, so
Okay, well,
although
you
I
know.
buy really cheap ones, so I don't know.
Off eBay.
I don't think there's a semi-box
There seems to
wide
be a
enough.
Yeah,
Well-
just 102.
Oh, it'll fit in 102.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. So let's do an old
Well-
Ford cab over.
But aren't we going
To
to
tow
drive
the-
it to SEMA?
If that's I'll definitely drive it. See, if we want,
I think we should.
okay.
Yeah, because that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
who drives a SEMA debut across country to SEMA.
From
will-
Florida, of
Yeah.
all places.
Yeah.
You know, you're not talking any
If it
further.
gains some stories to tell,
Oh, yeah.
it gains some stories to tell.
No, definitely. I'll drive it. We hit 28 Cracker Barrels on the way to SEMA. And 4 Econo Lodges.
And 132 gas stations.
At least, yeah.
We might need to
Or-
revisit our fuel tank.
We could just tow an
Can we just-
auxiliary tank.
Yeah.
There you go. 500
true.
gallons.
I think we're right around 50 on that tank
So
that
we
we
can go
built
100
for it.
miles.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's fuel injected. It should be great gas mileage.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. So your wife has obviously given you a lot of grace through this process.
Without a doubt.
We got to give her a shout out. And
Yes.
who is your wife?
Amanda.
Amanda.
I love her very much, and I bought her a 76 Bronco
Oh yeah.
to keep her. So she's pot committed. She can't say anything anymore.
76. So we're talking square body original.
Yep, Gen 1.
Yeah.
And Zip went with me to get. That was also Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was a
Or
one day,
Mississippi. That was Mississippi.
Yeah, one day
Yeah.
there and back.
Yeah.
I checked it out.
Yeah. And that's all original 302 Data
Not
44.
351.
Okay, 351.
And it's all actually, it's a Resta mod. Been completely
Oh,
gone through.
is it really?
Yep.
Okay.
And then Zip's fixed it.
It's good to have friends.
Exactly.
So we're putting fuel injection on it right now.
Right now, actually. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Because she also has a new Cadillac. So it's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Slightly.
A lot of different.
Yeah. So, but no, she's definitely lets me buy or do whatever.
That's
Gives
cool.
me a little bit of grief for it, but on the Hot Wheels truck, I brought her to when we were picking out the paint colors. So she had to say, so she can't. I'm like,
Okay, so the paint color's already decided on that
yeah.
one?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen multiple versions of that Hot Wheels
Right.
Yep.
vehicle. So
Yeah.
what
It's
choices
based
you
on
make?
the red one, very close, but we're actually not doing it matte.
Okay.
We probably will in the engine bay for just contrast, but, full matte paint jobs, they look cool. They're trendy right now. I really don't care if it's trendy now and not trendy later or whatever. I would do it all matte, but he wants to use the truck. They're
Yeah.
not a friendly paint
Yeah.
job to own.
Yeah, no.
Like you touch them wrong, that spot you got's what you got. Whereas you could have just took a little compound and buffed it off and been perfect again.
And welcome to Florida with the love bugs.
Right,
Yeah,
right, yeah.
exactly.
One love bug season, and okay, guess what? You get to redo.
yeah. Then
So
just
it's
a
going to
wrap.
be the
And it is pretty, the color. I mean, like we had spray outs, and we half matted them, so
Okay.
because we always spray clear, regular high solids clear, flat sand, then matte clear to get
Okay.
a true flat finish.
Okay.
So all our spray outs had a shiny side, and Amanda was like, I like that color.
Yeah.
And pointing at the shiny side, and I was like, it is better to have it shiny. It's
Yeah.
a way more durable finish, a way more user-friendly finish, and
Yeah. All right. So, Steve, you have said you've experienced multiple different build fiascos. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
The common story that you hear through a lot of shops is you drop a vehicle off, you drop cash off, that cash fulfills another build.
Oh, without doubt.
And then that build gets done and they can move on to that one. And then
hopefully
they're
someone else came
eager
to
for
fund
you-
your build
Yes.
that you already paid for.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, imagine Zip's not here right now.
Mm-hmm.
But what's your experience with Street Metal Concepts?
Well, and that's what I tell everyone. So the car industry, obviously, I'm a fan of it, but it's very much a lot of guys want to start a car shop because it's cool, they love cars, blah, 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 but they have no business sense.
Right.
And, it's cool to say, I built this, but you didn't do it. The money is the hardest aspect
Yeah.
of keeping it going. With Zip, he doesn't take a car until he can literally start on it that day or the next day.
Right.
He's not a storage unit, which I don't understand how all these other guys run their companies as storage units, because they'll take money but then keep it for 3 years and not touch it. Well, that's just a waste of their overhead.
Exactly.
So they've already lost their money before they even touched it, but
Yep.
they don't look at it like that. Not that I'm bad-mouthing everybody, but
I understand.
the 98% that I've dealt with. So Zip is, I give him a check and he sends me back. I get a spreadsheet literally weekly after I get it, what he did and what his guys did every single day that week, and an Excel spreadsheet of my money, my singular account of every dollar I've ever put in and where it's gone, whether labor,
Awesome.
material, tax, everything separated out to the penny.
Yeah.
And nobody does that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, and then on top of that, his guys have notes where they write what they did and all this stuff. So I mean, it's just complete. I don't even know what's the word. Open book.
Transparency.
Transparency.
Yep.
You see everything.
Yeah.
And you know exactly where your dollar went.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, everyone else, your dollar went to the guy before you. And that was actually before I got my Bel Air. I paid a guy out at Seymour, Indiana, to build me a 29 Model A shock rod. It was, the big wire 30-inch wheels. It was
wow.
nasty. And he was actually on a reality show, and that's how I saw him. Contacted him, and I guess everybody had the same idea, because he does build awesome cars. So it's not a businessman whatsoever. Started taking everybody's deposits,
Yep.
took mine, took a bunch of other guys, ended up in losing everybody's money. But he was sending me pictures. Here's your car, here's your car. Well, he was sending 10 other people the same pictures.
Oh,
And
wow.
he ended up doing 3 years. But still, none of us got our money back. No one got any cars. And I flew up there, met with him, saw my supposed car, saw
Yep.
all this stuff, and he's still on my hit list.
Yeah.
Because
He's
and I
there.
mean, yeah, 100%.
Note taken.
And that would have been my first one,
Yeah.
but then I got the '54 Bel Air, and then luckily I pulled in and met Zip, and just the fact that it was when I can work on your car is when I'll take it, and that's when you give me money.
Yeah.
That was completely new. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the eagerness to jump on
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, drop it off tomorrow.
We'll
Give me
work
$5
on it,
grand,
and then
you'll
5
have it
years
back
later-
in 3 weeks.
Yep,
And then
you still
3
haven't seen a
years
vehicle.
later, you're like, hey.
Are we still
And
working on this?
I mean, I don't think I'm doing anything special by doing that.
Just
it's special because
nobody
it's
else
done so seldom, but it should be the way it's done.
Without a doubt.
I mean, part of this show is to educate and give information to other business owners that are, trying
Right.
to create hot rod businesses, as well as other customers, across the board. And it has never failed me from day one to use your money to build your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
It's
actually.
amazing.
And don't spend the money before you do the work.
Yep.
I don't pay bills off of deposits for work I haven't performed. I pay bills after the work's done from our cut.
Yeah.
And then that goes to the bill,
Yep.
and it's really an accounting thing, and you can't fail.
And I don't think these other guys are out purposely trying to scam or anything like
They
that.
don't
They
know.
just
But
they
they
don't
just
know.
get
They
behind the
in
gun.
over their head.
Yep.
There's a lot of
And-
great craftsmen that aren't great business.
And they also give a quote, this is what it'll be, not knowing any idea of what it actually takes. And then they just keep going. And then in the construction industry, I know basically everything goes wrong every single day.
Yes.
Is what it is. So when stuff
It's
happens.
good to know that it carries over to other
Yeah.
industries.
So I let it known that I'd rather have it done right. If it costs a little more, if stuff comes
Right.
up, let me know. I want it done right. But when you give someone, this is what will be this, and then you feel like you have to meet that price completely 100%. So then you start half-assing stuff or doing,
Yep.
hurry up, get it out quick.
Yep.
Or, okay, well, we're not going to make any money on it, park it for 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's funny that, and through your own business, the idea of being honest, right, is what you draw to in how you manage business, and that's how you manage business.
Yep.
And
100%.
that's the connection there.
And that's the only, with all my guys and my employees, that's my number one rule is don't lie. If we mess up, tell them beforehand.
Yeah.
So then people can change and plan for it. You don't keep lying. Oh, yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, we got it. We did it. No, just say, oh, we messed up or we didn't get it, blah, blah, blah. This is what it is.
Well, how big is your team now, Steve?
I have 30 employees and probably 80 to 100 subcontractors.
Wow.
Well, I use like 6 subcontract, but crew members.
That's amazing. That's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
You can speak volume into that.
Yeah.
That's a lot to manage.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the hardest.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part of it, definitely.
Yeah. Well, hats off to you, man. Like you're making it happen. You know.
For now. We'll
Knock on wood.
knock on wood. We'll see
Another
how long.
eBay purchase.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Well, other than okay, so you have the semi truck, you got this one, the Corvette. You have so many other builds. What is there any other builds down the road that you'd like to tackle that you can think of?
Well, actually, Zip, it's still on the list, right? The C3.
C3.
Yeah.
C3,
Okay.
because I did
The 72.
the 72 Corvette C3. So I put in a 383 stroker, fuel
Okay.
injected.
Yep.
And switched
This is
it all.
your soon-to-be son's car.
Soon to be son's
Well, I mean,
car.
we have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Before he's 16.
Yeah.
I promise it won't take that long.
You
I
promise? Pinky swear? But yeah, I actually bought a full wide body kit for it, so all the fiberglass will work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So kind of, I don't know, and it's on all coilovers now, so it's sitting pretty low. I kind of wanted, because the C2 is set up for pro touring, I kind of want to set up for like autocross or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And so basically, Zip has to make it nice, make it work, and make it pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And make it functional for a 16-year-old.
yeah, well, he'll be a wheelsman though.
Yeah.
He's already pretty good.
Is he?
So by the time he's 16, he'll have driven a lot of
So
stuff.
you're feeling confident on his dirt
I'm gonna
bike,
get
his
him in-
go-kart, whatever it is?
Well, Steve does track days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I race at Sebring and
Okay.
the firm and stuff.
And what do you race at track days?
I have C7 ZR1.
Okay. Yeah.
That's actually up in Atlanta right now, getting built up because it wasn't powerful enough.
Yeah.
So it should be, when I get it back, it's supposed to be over 1,000 at the wheels.
Wow.
And then I have a Shelby Cobra.
Okay.
That's a full track car. It's not street legal, nothing, built by Backdraft Racing. So
Okay.
I race that one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my son, at 6 years old, you can start in quarter midgets.
Yes.
So
No kidding.
yeah,
That's cool.
and I love you, Amanda.
However, this is coming down.
Yes. And,
Don't let him listen.
yes. So that's
Oh man, I grew up in my best friend was in go-karting, and we loved the fact that he got into the Briggs & Stratton that led into the 100cc that led into the shifter carts, right? And we were running in the 90s 500cc shifter carts, and it was nasty.
Yep.
And it was so much fun. But that's cool, man. You're really investing in your son and the Corvette and the whole bit. That's really, really, really cool. I know Detroit Speed and Engineering. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but Kyle Tucker he sold it to Holly now recently, but Kyle Tucker was the owner of Detroit Speed and Engineering. He was the original engineer of a lot of the Corvette suspension components. And then he broke off, and him and his wife, they started Detroit Speed, and they were doing suspension parts for Camaros, first-gen Camaros, then Chevelles, and then Mustangs and everything else. But Corvettes was always their passion because they literally worked for GM for that component. And Kyle has built suspension components for that vehicle. And his stuff, I mean, you've used Detroit Speed in the past. When you talk about dialed in,
yeah.
that their stuff is dialed in, without a doubt.
See, that's what the C3. It seemed good, but then the C2, I mean, it's full chassis, everything, and so we're like,
That
oh
chassis
man,
is,
yeah, that's the way to go. Now it's like, oh no, what
that
have I got?
C2 is, have you seen that?
No.
The one, oh man, independent rear, R.
Yeah.
Morrison, it's nice. You know,
Yeah, people don't
but
realize
now-
how Corvettes drive originally. They drive like
no.
tractors.
Well, that's what the C3, like right when I'm like, a Kia Soul
Yeah.
could tear me up
Yeah.
in
I get it.
any corner,
I
top
get it.
speed, accelerate, anything. I'm like, this was, oh yeah,
Yeah.
the car.
Yeah.
And no, it's,
It literally drives like a Massey Ferguson
yeah, it's horrible.
until it's right and it's
Yeah.
dialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I can't wait to see more on that build. Again, we're going to be featuring more on the Hot Wheels tribute truck, I think is what we've coined the title on that.
Yep.
And Steve, I can't thank you enough for spending time with us today and sharing your story. And also how you were able to connect with Zip and Street Metal Concepts.
oh, that's actually one of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, besides
That's good to hear.
my children and my wife. Yeah,
You're
no,
like third, my
Yeah,
friend.
I
Take
mean-
third as a win.
We ain't no eBay.
yeah. No, I mean, I've always been into cars. I used to actually want to be a mechanic and all that stuff, but my stress level is not good for other people. So
Yeah.
to find someone who can do exactly what they say and you can trust is,
Yep.
without a doubt, a good thing,
Yep.
especially
Yep.
within the past few years.
Absolutely. Also, I want to encourage everyone to go to FACTORYISH.com. There is now Street Metal Concepts apparel available.
And
And
Factors.
I bought 2
Or,
shirts
yes.
last night.
You did?
did you
Yeah.
really? Awesome. So
Hopefully not this one, because I would have given you that.
No, it's the yellow one with
Oh,
that
awesome.
one, the yellow girl.
Awesome.
I got-
nice with the kind of the
skull.
Yeah.
the skull and the with
Sons
the
of
piston and
Anarchy.
everything.
Yep, Sons of
Yeah,
Anarchy.
that Hell's Angels kind of look.
In black because it's slimming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So check us out.
I outvoted everyone on going back to black on our shirts
Yeah.
because I'm the fattest one there.
So check us out on FACTORYISH.com. There's apparel there. There's also floor mats if you have a Jeep, JL, or JT. There's a lot of really cool floor mats that are licensed through Jeep that has all the insignia of what Jeep has available for Rubicon and Sahara and everything else. And that supports the show. And we also want to encourage everyone to check out the musclecarplace.com for the Kibbe and Friends show and the Muscle Car Place and everything else that's associated with the network. Support them. They're supporting us. So we're really appreciative of everything that they're doing for us, and we support them as well. So again, Steve, thank you for your time.
My
Zip,
pleasure.
it's always good to be down here.
Absolutely.
And guys, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.